Hey guys, welcome back. Joe here from 9 to 5ers. We're going to be talking about purchases that you will regret. And this is from an article that was from MSN. I checked it out and it had about 20 or 30 things on there. I think it was actually 19. I wasn't 30, but 19 different items that people will regret. I went through, I combed through it, and I kind of picked up the ones that really resonated with me and I've heard other people complain about. And I wanted to share them here with you guys because these are purchases that we are potentially saving for or come up to us in our everyday lives, and we have been guilty of buying them in the past, or we are coming up on it, and maybe we could potentially buy them. So I'm going to go through these really quickly. I'm going to explain why these are purchases that people will regret, and this is not just like a theoretical study. This is what people actually came up with. And this is like, yeah, I regret buying this. So the first one was a boat. Everybody kind of thinks that like a boat is a status symbol type of thing, whether it be just a fishing boat or, you know, a yacht or whatever that is. Time after time after time again, people go out and they buy a boat because that is like a level of status that they have. Like, I can go out and do this anytime I want to. There's a lot of expenses that come with a boat. There's the upkeep. If you have it somewhere docked, there's the dock fees that are there. You have to buy a trailer. If you plan on, hauling it from here and there and everywhere, you have to also buy the truck. You also have to pay for the storage. You have to also pay for the gas, and you also have to pay for the oil. And also, if the motor breaks down, you got to fix that, and the wear and tear, and you got to have the cover for it. And it's just like, boats just eat you alive in expenses that you kind of really don't think about. And if you live somewhere where it's seasonal, like where most of us live in the United States, then you're not going to get to use your boat all the time. You're going to use it during part of the year. So are you basically going to be living on this boat, or are you going to be using it part-time? Because that's the big difference. That's the big question I'd be asking anybody that wants to buy a boat. And like, well, I earned this boat. I want to buy a boat. And it's just like, well, why don't you just rent it? Why don't you rent the boat? Like, I guess I've heard the old adages is that you're only happy twice when you have a boat. It's the day you buy it and the day that you actually sell it. I thought that was kind of funny. I've been on boats multiple times. I always have a blast when I'm on a boat. And, I always take my seasickness, those pills that kind of get for motion sickness, because I have that. But, when it comes to boats, I will pay a higher rent fee to just rent it and be done with it. Or I will bring the party supplies, the pizza, the beer, the whatever is the drinks that are required for the boat. And I will be that guy, and I will go on my friend that owns a boat, and then I will have a party with them, and they can deal with all the expenses that come with it. So boat is a big one. If you really, really want one, rent one for a while. Try it out. See how much you really, really enjoy it, how much you often use it. And then if you love it, absolutely love it, then maybe buy it. But make sure you got all those expenses in the spot. Timeshares. I've actually know people personally that have bought timeshares, and they all have regretted it. Everybody goes on vacation. It's just like, there's that pitch of just like, where'd you go on your last vacation? How much did you spend on it? Man, you could, if you bought this package with us, you could go on, that would equal 5 vacations. Why don't you do this and that? These people are expert sellers. And if they are in an area that is not the United States, they can actually sell you alcohol, or they can give you alcohol and get you drunk to maybe sign something to get into a timeshare. There are hidden fees with timeshares, and those fees always seem to be going up. And there's blackout dates. There's all these weird rules and restrictions that you have to. There's that fine print that is like, size 1 font, and it's like 3 pages. Just like, man, where are all these qualifications coming from? Like, the salesperson up there giving that pitch didn't talk about all this kind of stuff. I don't know anybody that has a timeshare that still absolutely loves it, and they are a nightmare to get out of. So really, really watch timeshares. Stay away from those as often as possible, and really, 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 really do your research before you sign any dotted lines. Like I said before, I don't know anybody that's gotten a timeshare that didn't regret it. Home exercise equipment. I always thought this one was hilarious because in January, December, that is the time when those spike. And man, if you want to pick up exercise equipment, pick them up in June or July, because that's when they're all on this local market, Facebook or social media sites where you can buy stuff from other people around you. You can get almost brand new exercise equipment that's 6 months old, only used twice, and you can get it for 50%. And they can come to your house and sit in your house. Now, home exercise equipment is a big one for whatever reason. We all think that there's people out there that think they need to have it in their house, and they never use it. I have actually a weight bench down in my basement right now that has clothes hanging on it, and I've never used. Now, I got this thing for free from my dad, but listen, don't get them. Just get a gym membership. If you actually go to a gym every single week diligently, then maybe get home exercise equipment. But man, you got to pass that first test before you go out and spend $1,000 on one of those Nordic tracks or whatever those things are. Hot tubs and pools. Those are a really good one. And I have a mixed with this one. I've seen people with hot tubs and pools that use them on a regular basis and they keep up with them. And I've seen people that don't ever keep up with them. I love driving by people's houses in my neck of the woods, and I can see just based off of the way that the land is set up, like, oh, there used to be a pool there. Like I can tell, like it's a round circuit, like an oval circle, and there's like, and you could tell there used to be a fence there, and it was an above ground pool, and like, oh, you can see that the patio door walked out to it, and it's just gone now. Pools are extremely expensive to put in. And pools and hot tubs are both have upkeeps. And unless you're going to be using them on a basis, just like boats or timeshares or home exercise equipment, there's a large upfront cost, and there's also that ongoing cost. And if you don't use them and get that maximum enjoyment out of them, then it's just not worth it. Get a pass to the local Y, get a pass to the local whatever it is to get in their hot tub, use it, and then you can walk away. And guess what? You don't have to clean that thing. They clean it for you. DVDs. DVDs are going by the wayside. I know I've been into those big box stores and they got that bargain bin of DVDs, and it's just like you see a DVD on there and it has 3 different movies on it, and it's just like $3, $4. And it's just like, I don't want to watch these movies for free. Why would I spend $3 on them? And people pick them up for whatever reason, and they have a massive DVD collection of just like all these DVDs. Guys, I don't know. I mean, how many movies that you've watched multiple times over and over and over and over again? Like, not very many times. Like, I mean, your favorites, yeah, you've watched them 2, 3, maybe 4 times. Like, and having a small DVD collection, I get, but like that massive DVD collection, it just takes up space, and you have to buy it all, and it's just like, why do you have it? Well, yeah, I get it. You want to have something to watch. Maybe you don't have cable and you cut cable, so now you have DVDs. Well, go to your local library, get on an app. There's plenty of ways to rent DVDs for literally the same price that you would buy it for. And now you don't have it clogging up your entire house and like having an entire bookcase dedicated to DVDs that you'll never, ever watch ever again, or maybe you haven't even watched yet. Oh, it's an expense that just keeps growing and growing and growing. Extended warranties. That's another one. I see those and they pop up, and I'm just like, listen, if this product's going to break in 6 months, I wasn't going to buy it in the first place. Like, I did some research on it, and I'm going to bring it back anyway and complain. And you're probably going to give me my money back, because if you don't, I'm going to give you a bad review and the company a bad review that did it. So figure it out. Like, I don't need to buy an extended warranty. Just stand behind your product. Pricey weddings and pricey wedding rings. This one's probably one of the toughest that people are going to get past, just because it's like the day that, like, it is the pinnacle for some people's lives when they get married, that it's going to be like, I've been dreaming about this my entire life. And yes, I am referring to the ladies out there probably a little bit more than the men. I think every single woman that I've actually had a conversation with this and talked about, that's been married for, X years, 5, 6, 7 years, 10 years plus, that had the huge wedding, they all were like, if I had to do it again, I probably wouldn't have had the huge wedding. Just because my wife and I, we had a bigger wedding, and it was a whirlwind. I mean, it was amazing. It was great. And me personally, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I got to marry my best friend, and we're going to live happily ever after, knock on wood. And, but she has come up to me multiple times, along with some other people that I know. And they kind of just go, yeah, like, I wouldn't have gone with a big wedding. Like, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. Now, trying to convince somebody that hasn't had their big wedding yet, that's a whole nother different story. But just a smaller weddings and having a bigger and better honeymoon, or putting that money towards a down payment on a house, that's something that's actually going to last. One day can go by very, very fast, for sure. Wedding rings are the same way. I got the same gold wedding ring that I've had since I got married. My wife, I spent a decent chunk of change compared to my salary on there. What is that adage of just like it's 6 months salary? Like, how big is her hand? Can she bench like 4 pounds of like metal and gold and well, metal is gold, but the metal and the diamonds on there, like people that have the big wedding bands, that is, it's nice, but it's also like it's something that's nice for a while and it kind of gets old and you kind of forget about it. Camcorders, guess what? You have a phone, you don't need to buy a camcorder unless you're like a videographer or you do this professionally. Then maybe get a camcorder. But if you're just a person that likes to take videos and do whatever, if you're not a professional YouTuber or a professional that uses a camcorder, you don't need a camcorder anymore. We got phones. They do well enough. Single purchase, single use kitchen appliances. I've seen this before, and it's just like they just collect dust. We've been suckered into getting those appliances before. We've had them. And it's just like, why do we have this thing? We never, ever use this. We stopped doing this. Get appliances that do multiple things or are pretty versatile and are going to do a lot of different, like a pressure cooker. Yeah, it only pressure cooks food, but you can put tons of different foods in there and use it as a pressure cooker. So watch out for that. A lot of times those end up at garage sales at deep discounts that the next sucker will buy and leave in their kitchen and never use. The last thing in here are collectibles. Now, so it's kind of a caveat because I know there's people out there that like to collect stuff. They are big collectors and that's what they like to do. Now, if that is in the freedom plan of your life and it is and part of your fun fund and you're putting that money towards that, that's a different story and it's under control. And you are never going above that dollar limit that you have on a monthly basis for your collectibles, and everything else is being taken care of. You're paying off your debts and you are paying off your debts and you're also putting money towards your retirement. That's fine. Then have collectibles. That's your thing. I get that. But man, I know people that are the other side of it. And it's just like, how many, like the Beanie Babies were a craze. Those like little pop head things. I can't even remember all the stuff. Basketball cards were big back in the day, back in the 90s. And there's even these monthly subscription services where you just get a box of random stuff. I got this t-shirt and I got these, like you just got junk. Like you just bought, like, yeah, it was a surprise, but why did you buy that? Like that, it wasn't worth it. Why did you get that? Collectibles, you really got to watch. So guys, be honest down in the comments. What dumb purchases have you made that you regret in the past? We've all done one of these things. Like, listen, I've been the DVD guy. I've been the single purchase kitchen gadget guy. And I've been what was the other one? I've done a couple collectible things there, but I'm past that now. I'm willing to admit that on camera. What have you guys done dumb in the past? What do you regret? I'm really anxious to hear what you guys have to say. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. Have a good one.